Hey, welcome back to this second video on this series on Python. So today we will go over magic methods or Dunder methods. Before that, I'd like to point out the GitHub repo where I'm putting out all the code. So if you just go to Sol0 Invictus and Python -YT, you can find all the code that I type in every video. So previously we had talked about private in Python, so here's the code for it. Also, I have been making YouTube videos on deep learning in MATLAB and reinforcement learning in MATLAB, so feel free to check them out. And also, please like and subscribe so I can keep on doing this stuff. So today we will go, as I said, over the magic methods. So let me open my VS Code and let me just set it up nicely. Great. So magic methods or Dunder methods are basically methods of classes and objects that begin with two underscores and end with two underscores. So that's why they're called Dunder, because there's double underscore. And you have already seen, I'm sure all of you are familiar with constructors. So constructor in Python is defined with double underscore and init. So it's a Dunder method as well. So let me just create a dummy class called test, and it basically has a constructor, and let me just initialize one variable. That's all this class has. So this constructor, as you can see, has double underscore in front and back, and that's what uh, a dunder method is, right? So let me now create an object of this class, and let's say I wanted to print I want to see what does Python print out when I pass in the object. So let's run it. And here, as you can see, it just points out that this is a test object and the location, the memory location where it's stored at or pointing to. Great. So, okay, that's good. Now, if I wanted to see all the methods a class or rather an object has, what I would do is I would type in the command dir. So what dir does is it lists out all the attributes of of an object. Now attributes could be the methods, it could be the variables and other things, user-defined variables and other things that are there. So let me print out all the methods that our object has. So when I do that, we get a lot of methods. So in this class, we only had the constructor and we had only one variable. And here we get a list of methods. Why is that so? So first of all, we can see that our variable a is also there. It's at the end. It's without an underscore because it's a user-defined variable. Now, everything else are methods that are inbuilt for each class, and they are the default methods that are there. So for example, EQ checks equality. So if I do object A equals object B, it checks whether it's equal to the two objects are equal. GT is greater than, um, and so on. LE is less than, and so on. So these are the basic methods that work on objects that are predefined in Python for you. So, for example, the object integer or object string would have these methods already predefined because they make sense. But if you are using a user-defined class, you probably would need to overload these methods to define the meaning that makes sense for your predefined class. And yeah, so basically dir tells you all the methods that are currently there in your object. And there are lots of them. And if you check up some web page or the Python documentation, you would find that there are loads of these magic or dunder methods associated to classes. So for example, there is a method called add. So what it does is, so whenever you do object A plus object B, this method defines the behavior that you want for um, when two objects are added, well, two user-defined objects are added. So this is the same as overloading operator in C++, but here you would overload this dunder or magic method. So let me show you a simple example of overloading one of these pre pre-built methods. So let's look at this str method, right? So what str method does is, so whenever you pass in the object in print, so when I passed in my object A in the print statement, it printed out some text, what object it is, and the location. So if I wanted something else, if I wanted to print out something else, I would overload the str object. So let's do that. So let me define the str object here. It takes in self, and let me just return the value of A. Okay, so let me return an f string, value of A. Okay, so we have overloaded the str function to return just, the value of, return the string with A. So now if I run it, now when I print out the object, you can see here, um, we got this particular response. So we've overloaded that particular method of the object. And then there are, again, a lot of things that you can do, like if you wanted to overload the add object, overload greater than, equal to, and so on. Our constructor is also in the list of attributes. So here you can see the init method. So again, with dir, you can see all the methods that are there in your object, and also user-defined methods are also present, and you can overload these methods to change the behavior of your objects. So um, yeah, I hope this small video was helpful to showcase the behavior of these magic methods. And yeah, I hope you guys like this video, and please like and subscribe. All right, see you next time.